Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. My wife said she hated being with me the same way someone comments on bad weather, casually, like it wasn't going to change the rest of my life. We were standing in the kitchen, the light over the sink flickering, her arms crossed, eyes already somewhere else. "I'm miserable," she said. "I hate being with you." No shouting, no tears, just a statement. My name is Daniel. I'm 39, married to Emily for 11 years, and in that moment, I understood something I've been avoiding for years. Love doesn't always explode. Sometimes it just switches off. I didn't respond right away. I nodded, like she'd told me the trash needed taking out. Emily turned back to her phone, thumbs moving fast, relief all over her face, like she'd finally set down a heavy bag she'd been carrying. That hurt more than the words. For a long time, I had believed effort could fix anything. I worked longer hours, planned weekends, listened when she complained about her job, her friends, her family. Somewhere along the way, I became background noise in my own marriage. We met in Manchester, young and broke, splitting takeaway and dreaming out loud. She used to reach for my hand in public. She used to laugh with her whole body. I built a life around that version of her. Mortgage, routines, quiet dinners, shared calendars. I thought stability was love maturing. I didn't notice when affection turned into tolerance, when conversations became logistics. Or maybe I noticed and told myself it was normal. That night, after she said it, the house felt different. Smaller, colder. Emily went upstairs early, closed the bedroom door, and didn't look back. I stayed on the sofa, staring at the blank television screen, listening to the clock tick like it was counting down something I couldn't see. I felt embarrassed more than angry, ashamed that I had stayed so long where I wasn't wanted. Around midnight, I stood up and walked into bedroom. She was already asleep, facing the wall, phone glowing faintly on the nightstand. I didn't wake her. I didn't need another confirmation. I opened the wardrobe and pulled out a suitcase I hadn't used in years. The zipper sounded too loud in the quiet room. I folded clothes slowly, deliberately, like I was packing evidence for a case I'd finally decided to win. As I packed, memories kept interrupting me. Her head on my shoulder during our first road trip, the night we painted the living room and laughed until we were dizzy. Then the later memories, sharper ones. Her sighs when I walked into a room, the way she corrected me in front of friends, the silence that followed my jokes. I realized I'd been negotiating for scraps of affection, calling it compromise. I didn't take everything, just enough to leave. Jeans, shirts, my work boots, the old watch my father gave me. When the suitcase was full, I stood there for a moment, listening to her breathing, steady and unconcerned. That was when something settled inside me. Not rage, clarity. She had told me the truth. Staying after that would have been choosing humiliation. I carried the bag downstairs. The front door creaked when I opened it, a sound I'd fixed 3 times but never quite solved. Cold air rushed in. I stepped outside, feeling strangely light. As I reached my car, keys in hand, I heard the door behind me open. "Daniel." Emily's voice cut through the night, sharp with surprise. I turned around slowly, suitcase by my side, and saw her standing there barefoot, confusion replacing certainty on her face. She looked at the bag, then at me, like the idea hadn't occurred to her until now. "You're leaving?" she asked, voice thinner, uncertain. I didn't answer immediately. I just nodded once. The street was quiet, rows of dark houses watching. For the first time in years, she seemed unsure of herself, like she expected me to argue, to beg, to negotiate my place. Instead, I closed the distance between us, set the suitcase down, and met her eyes, calm and steady, waiting to see what she would say next. The night air held its breath. And so did I, knowing whatever came after would decide whether this goodbye stayed quiet or finally became something else entirely. I waited, keys cold in my palm, listened to her inhale sharply, the pause stretching fragile, before any words could break at last now. She didn't answer right away. Emily's eyes kept flicking between my face and the suitcase, like she was trying to solve a puzzle she hadn't expected to be given. "I didn't mean like this," she finally said. "You're being dramatic." That word used to stop me. It used to make me backtrack, soften, apologize for having feelings. This time it didn't land. I picked up the suitcase again and stepped toward the car. "Daniel," she said louder, "where are you even going?" "A place where I'm not hated." I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. It wasn't meant to be cruel. It was just true. She laughed once, sharp and disbelieving. "You're really doing this?" "Over one sentence." "It wasn't one sentence," I said. "It was years." That seemed to confuse her more than anything. She opened her mouth, closed it, then crossed her arms again, the old defensive posture snapping back into place. "So that's it? You're just walking away from our marriage?" I shook my head. "I'm walking away from being unwanted in it." For a moment, I thought she might cry. Her eyes went glassy and her jaw tightened. Then the mask dropped and irritation took over. "You always do this," she snapped. "Run instead of fixing things." I almost smiled. Running would have been leaving without listening. Running would have been pretending her words hadn't mattered. Staying after hearing them would have been surrender. "I tried fixing things," I said quietly. "You just didn't notice because it was convenient." That hit something. Her expression shifted, not to anger, but to something closer to panic. "You can't just leave," she said. "What about the house? The plans? We have a life." I looked past her at the lit hallway, the framed photos we stopped updating years ago. "We have a routine," I corrected. "There's a difference." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "I was just being honest. Don't punish me for that." "I'm not punishing you," I said. "I'm respecting myself." Silence stretched between us again, thicker this time. A car passed at the end of the street, headlights sweeping over us like a spotlight. Emily's shoulders sagged. "You'll regret this," she said, softer now, almost pleading. "Maybe," I admitted, "but I'd regret staying more." I opened the car door and set the suitcase inside. The finality of it seemed to land then. Her confidence drained away, replaced by something raw. "You're really not going to fight for me?" I met her eyes one last time. "I fought until you told me you hated being with me." That was the bell. She stood there, barefoot on the cold pavement, as I closed the door. For the first time since I'd known her, she looked small, unsure what would happen next. I felt a flicker of sadness, but it didn't outweigh the relief spreading through my chest. I slid into the driver's seat, hands steady on the wheel. As I pulled away, I saw her in the mirror, still standing in the doorway, arms wrapped around herself now. I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. The road ahead was dark, unfamiliar, but it belonged to me. I drove to a small hotel near the motorway, checked in with nothing but my name and a credit card, and sat on the edge of the bed, listening to the hum of the heater. That night, sleep came slowly, but when it did, it was deep. No knots in my stomach. No rehearsed conversations in my head. Just quiet. In the days that followed, Emily texted, called, oscillating between anger and nostalgia. I kept my replies brief and honest. Eventually, the messages stopped. Weeks later, I stood in an empty flat I just rented, sunlight pouring through bare windows. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I unpacked the same suitcase I'd carried that night and felt something like gratitude. She had said she hated being with me. I believed her, and believing her turned out to be the most self-respectful thing I'd ever done.